All right, everybody, welcome back. Sam's Army Match Week 20. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to start with the Premier League, where it was the managerial red wedding week of sorts, Arsenal's big week, and debating Brentford's legitimacy. Halftime will be a makeshift GKU-related weekly what if. Round the world, AFCON will be touched on. Old man Wenger is out of his home for a moment and doing silly shit. And Wilfried Nancy, his Scottish cup of coffee. Finally, stoppage time with Evan Toney's best bets and everyone's favorite segment, GOAWs. Now, time to welcome in this week's panel of beauties, starting with Mr. Tyler Terrence. It's a crazy year in college football this year, so we don't have, no Ohio State, no Bama, no Georgia, no Clemson, no Michigan. I don't know if we include those in sort of the upper echelon or not. But give us your take on who's actually going to win this thing.
Are you asking me a college football playoff question right now? Is that what's happening? The Hoosiers go Hoosiers. I don't know. Victor Oladipo is going to lead the Hoosiers to victory. Who knows? I mean, Fernando Mendoza, maybe the next Jets quarterback who's going to suck at the Jets and then go thrive at a different team, possibly, maybe. I mean, that seems like the best bet. Although I will say, the U got me fired up. Michael Irving and Ray Lewis on the sideline for Miami was sick. I loved watching that. I think I'm rooting for Miami. I think that's where my heart's at, but my brain is telling me Indiana.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting storylines here. The Michael Irving with his belt to ass thing or whatever. Mendoza, by the way, is like he's an AI person that has been like designed in a Tom Brady kind of act-alike manufacturing facility. He's strange, but I love him. He seems very interesting. I would love to have a conversation with him. Anyway, Mitch, same question for you. Mitchell Goulet, a.k.a. Overtime Mitch, our Tweedle. Who you got? NCAA
I actually couldn't care less about college football. I only have so much RAM in my head for like sport. I'm an avid NBA fan. I am a half decent hockey fan. I'm a good NFL fan. And obviously footy. College football just doesn't interest me, especially being from New England. Like I was born into excellence with the Patriots. So I don't really have to focus on a college team like that. Miami, sure.
I don't have to focus on a college team.
Also,
like
Sam, I could have sworn you were going to ask me about the men's cash tournament that I played in Louisville.
I forgot that happened. I forgot that. Give us the lowdown. Give us the deets here.
It was absolute shithousery, that tournament. Let me tell you, just proper like. We should have been playing in the over 30 version of the tournament. We ended up playing in the open, which is literally like the top division of it. And we end up playing against, kids who are playing for Xavier and Memphis and like playing for like really good Midwest schools. And like, it's like me, Kenny Walker, Corbin Bone, Paulo Del Piccolo, like a bunch of guys who just like don't have legs anymore. We started out with 16 guys and like doing line shifts of like 90 seconds to 2 minutes to keep everybody fresh. So you never could get into a rhythm. We beat the first team 13-0 when we had our full complement of players. Then we run into the team that wins it every year. And we played basically what ended up being an American football match. We lost to them by a goal. That was really competitive. We were like, all right, we'll see you bitches in the final. And then the third game, we beat the team who ended up actually winning the whole thing by 2. Again, just a bloodbath. And then we play a group of kids who we actually play against on Friday mornings, all who played like for Memphis and Xavier in the semifinals. Again, bloodbath. Also, the referee was so bad for both teams because both teams were cordial with each other. We weren't upset with each other. The referee was, I've never seen this shit before. The GM of the tournament came onto the field at halftime and brought in another referee to help out the guy and put his arm on the referee and said, hey, dude, like, this is a little bit too much for you. We're going to bring in a little bit of help. Our goalkeeper was so far off of his line at midfield and saved the ball with his hand to prevent the goal, like straight Luis Suarez shit. The ref didn't call it. And I said, the other team is swarming him at halftime. And I go to the guys because, again, like we see these guys every Friday morning when we play with them when they're home for break. And I was like, I got it. I went up to the ref. I was like, dude, just so you know, like that was so blatantly a handball on our keeper. And he goes, I couldn't tell if it was his hand or not. I was like, oh, okay, then like you're out of your depth then because this is just that was so blatantly obvious. And then I ended up getting a blue card which is basically like a penalty in hockey. Like you get sent off for 2 minutes unless the other team scores, then you get brought on. I got shoved into a wall, 2 hands, which is a huge no-no, and that's an automatic penalty. And I ended up possibly fracturing my toe, and I was bleeding through my sock, basically my very own Kurt Schilling story. And I look at and they scored off of that play because I gave up the ball as I'm like literally grabbing onto my toe, screaming in pain. And I look at the ref. This is midway through the second half when the other ref had come on. I was like, just so you know, dude, you suck so much at this hobby of yours that they had to bring somebody else on. So maybe you shouldn't be doing this anymore. And then I got a blue card for that and then went back. But at least I let him know. At least I let him know. It was fun. We lost some penalties. It was a good time. It was a good time.
My God, those tournaments, they really are. Like, by the end of the tournament, it's like walking wounded. Who do you still have out there?
Yeah.
Who's still got 2 hamstrings?
We ended up with like 12 guys by the end of it, and everyone was gassed. But it was competitive. Like, it was just fun to like really battle for something, and like it was fun. And listen, we hung around with the youngins. These kids are like 22, 23 years old and have all sorts of youth on their side, and they struggled to dispose of us. We were warriors.
Listen, that's and you went home with only broken toe at worst, which
I guess that's a win.
I think it is. Honestly, I think it is. In the day and age where knees go pop and Achilles go whatever, like I think broken toe, I would actually take that as a win. Yep. So well done, congratulations, and thanks for the details on that. All right, let's move on. Before we hit the Premier League, gotta tell you guys about Patreon, Sam's Army Patreon. You got to get access to the Discord, which is the coolest little community of soccer sickos out there. We're talking about it every week. If you haven't gotten in yet, what are you even doing with your life right now? $3.99 a month, chump change. Jump in right now, Sam's Army Patreon. All the other stuff I always talk about. Maybe we'll get back to their bonus episodes and Tommy's blogs and all that. But really, it's the Sam's Army Discord. Awesome community of soccer sickos. All right, Premier League time. Well, we had a very interesting, week or so of all sorts of games, all sorts of news, all sorts of things happening. There were 2 full match days so the first was Tuesday, Thursday, split up over the new year. And then over the weekend, we had another match day. Now, in and around that, we had 2 very high-profile managerial changes, or at least vacancies. So Enzo Maresca is out at Chelsea, and as of just this morning, I believe very early this morning, our time, Ruben Amorim is out at Manchester United. So let's go with Mitch first. Which of those vacancies are you more interested in or you want to talk about?
We'll go Amorim first. It's the freshest. I think this was a long time coming, and I don't think anybody is surprised by it. The people who at this stage in his tenure are saying, "No, I just got to give him time." No, this is a failed project, and this was just about the ending that we all expected. Him smiling ear to ear with the paparazzis outside his house and dapping him up on his way out. I'm surprised he made it to the new year, to be honest, but I think he made out handsomely. What did he get, like an $11 million payout from it? And is now fun employed. So he's winning. United is not. I don't know where they go from here, though. I really have no idea.
By the way,
the interesting thing,
all in to pay for Ruben Amorim, both contract and the transfer fee that they had to get him away from Sporting Lisbon, close to $30 million. It was a $27 million affair for Ruben Amorim, which just coincidentally enough would probably buy them the young midfielder that they've been craving for anyway in the middle of the park. But anyway, I just wanted to drop that. Sam, you can give your thought before I say something.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot going on here. We've been talking about him perhaps being on the hot seat for months at this point, if not longer. The thing is that like the results haven't been that bad. They're in 6th place. Manchester United in 6th place at this point. Would you expect them to be in like a higher place with their roster, Mitch?
No, of course not. But the football being played doesn't look good. The product on the field, they've gotten results from really, really bizarre positions over the course of his control over that club, but the football doesn't look good. They have lacked the identity that he sought to implement when he first came in. And at first it was like, oh, well, I don't have the players to do so. And then he kind of had some budget and he brought in some players and they weren't the right players or they didn't pan out. There was a lot of reasons why it didn't work, but I think ultimately, like, the football being played doesn't look good. And there's no way up from here. There's no, like, you don't see United staying in sixth, do you? The rest of the season? Like, do you think they have any aspirations to finish in Europe?
It's so packed this season that, like, it feels like almost anything can happen. I don't think that they will, but I think they could. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that they could, and this John in the chat just brought up the fact of, like, sporting directors having too much power. When did it get lost on everybody that just like any other walk of life and any other business, there's a hierarchy to employment? You are the coach, you report to the sporting director, who reports to the owner. Now, I'm not saying that there weren't broken parts of the relationship between Enzo Maresca and Winstanley and Stewart, and I'm not saying there aren't broken parts of the relationship between Ruben Amorim and what's his face, Wilcox. But I'm sorry, but like, between Maresca and Ruben Amorim, since what did they do to earn the cachet to stomp their feet and claim that they should have complete and utter autonomy over the clubs of the likes of Manchester United and Chelsea Football Club? Like, Ruben Amorim, I'm sorry, but winning a Premier Liga title and beating Manchester City once in the Champions League when they were a wounded animal does not make you God's gift to this world of football and allow you to be able to demand whatever you want. I'm sorry, Enzo Maresca, but just because you spent 15 years at Manchester City and then you got Leicester City promoted with a roster that everybody thought should have gotten promoted anyway, and that Mitch probably could have gotten promoted, doesn't mean that you get to come into Chelsea Football Club and say that you should have more of a say than the medical staff about when players should be coming back from injury, when these players have been dealing with injuries their entire career, i.e. Reece James and Cole Palmer. So I'm sorry, but, like, you have to earn that right to be able to sort of have control over a football club. Sir Alex didn't fucking have that right when he walked in from St. Mirren into Manchester United. He built that up over years of winning Premier League titles and winning FA Cups and winning Champions Leagues. Now, there has to be a really strong working relationship, and it always is a relationship that's super complicated, just as is a friendship, as is a partnership, whatever it might be, because the sporting director's trying to do one thing, the manager's trying to do another, and they both need each other to succeed, but they're both standing in each other's way to succeed in some way, shape, or the other. It's a really difficult thing to balance. But the common theme between all three of these positions, and now I'm including Wilfried Nancy, is that, and I'm going to exclude Enzo Maresca, the common theme between Wilfried Nancy and Ruben Amorim, like, unflinchingly rigid in what they believe the game should look like when they're coaching, and not willing to be malleable and saying it's either going to be my way or you're going to fire me. Now, the financials are so out of control nowadays that Ruben Amorim was happy to get fired. Like Mitch said, he's sitting on a fucking winning lottery ticket, knowing that if he gets fired and if he tees off on his employer in this final, and he knew he was fired going into that Leeds game for what it's worth. He knows that he's getting paid out until he gets another job, and if he wants to, he can just sit on that, and he's making like £1 million a month based off the end of his contract. So yeah, why not be unflinchingly rigid? But at the same time, like, Wilfried Nancy, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to implement your sexy, do-it-all type of football that has like 1 million different components to it with a Celtic team that is struggling to survive and clearly needs to just simply steady the ship and plug the holes. And he had a 15-minute meeting with Martin O'Neill to sort of pass over a broken and a wounded team. There are too many coaches nowadays who think that their philosophy is the only winning philosophy, and they're smarter than everybody else, and they don't want to listen to anybody else. I don't know where that came from. Maybe everybody's trying to be their very own Pep Guardiola, but he's one of one. And this whole coach versus manager, I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant here, but like, I think that, like, we always talk about how this is a player-driven society right now within the world of football. Coaches might have the biggest ego out of anybody right now.
Yeah.
Like,
we talk a lot about coaches for a bunch of guys that don't kick the ball. And obviously coaching is important. Obviously tactics are what shape a team, and how a team wants to play determines who signs who and who plays even. But you're very right in that coaches should not be so egotistical that they think their style of football is their way or the highway, especially for a club like you said, Chelsea, United, and even Celtic to a degree. Like there's just no reason a coach should walk in and feel as if they can change up the entire identity of a club. And if the club,
in the middle of the
clubhouse,
season,
yeah, in the middle of the season, and if the players don't follow, and if the board and if the ownership doesn't agree with them that they're in the right and everyone else is in the wrong because they're the ones that have been brought in to kind of steer the ship, that's just not how it works. It's not how this team game is played. So you're right. I kind of want to co-sign on that rant. I don't know where the leverage goes from here in terms of coaching negotiations with clubs, but it does feel like coaching malleability and adaptability is going to become more important in this coaching free agency.
Which is maybe why Oliver Glasner is sort of seeing what's happening here and not re-signing with Crystal Palace, because he knows somebody's going to back up a Brinks truck for him. And yeah, I know he's kind of, flexible in that way. This the last press conference, I'm not clear on whether Amorim knew he knew he was gone, right? When he had that.
The reporting coming out was that he knew on Thursday or Friday that he was getting sacked after the Ellen Road game.
Oh, regardless of result.
Which makes the post-game press conference where he's just basically just shitting on his bosses like all the funnier, and also makes so much more sense.
He said it. He was like, I'm just going to do my job until the next guy comes in. Like, he was already admitting that he knew he was getting fired at that point in time.
Yeah.
And there was like a level of, he addressed my comment to a certain extent of like, when did he earn the cachet? He goes, I know I'm not Tuchel. I know I'm not Antonio Conte, but like at some point, I came in to be the manager, not the coach. And I'm like, you can have some sort of say and some sort of vote when it comes to player acquisition. But if you don't get a midfielder, you don't get a midfielder. And then you need to adjust to what your team looks like to win as many games as possible. Your job, whether you're being deemed as a coach or as a manager, and again, those are two different things. And if you're not following he addressed that in his post-game comments, basically saying like, the deal was I was brought in to be a manager, not a coach. And the difference between that is simply like, manager is you actually get to oversee the whole team and you have a huge say in the players that are brought in. You have a good relationship with the sporting director. Coach is just like, you're just the tactic guy and you're just playing the piece. You're playing with the pieces that have been given to you. His role seemingly fell somewhere in between. And like most young managers, you didn't get everything that you wanted because that's not how the transfer window works unless you're Manchester City or Bayern Munich or whatever, or Liverpool now. Your job after that is to win games, hard stop, regardless if you're the coach or the manager. And coaches are forgetting that, or they're just or they're choosing to maybe ignore it. And there's a willing ignorance going back to the money thing, where it's like, well, I'm going to try to do it my way, and I'm going to make decisions that I can sort of explain in job interviews for the next employment opportunity, sort of stealing a line from Moneyball there and saying like, you know what, if I fail while I'm doing it, I fail. I'll get paid out until my next job comes around, and at least I can say I did it my way. It's like. And they're torching clubs along the way. I think Oliver Glasner would be a perfect fit. Now, Liam Rose Sr., I don't know if that's a good fit for Chelsea right now because that club needs more of a man manager than it does a coach right now. I think that those players are smart enough to figure it out. The same goes with Manchester United. Those clubs don't need coaches. They don't need somebody on their tactical board fucking shifting things around and, this formation and that formation. By the way, Mitch, when's the last time we've heard so much about a formation revolving around Manchester? I have never heard this amount of talk about a 3-back versus a 4-back ever. And how this has been the overriding subject of contention revolving around a coach's employment. I've never heard of this before.
No.
What the fuck did that matter? Go out and play. Do you think Fulham had any plan for the last 3 minutes of the Liverpool game and Harrison Reed's goal had anything to do with a formation? Fucking hit the ball and see if it goes in. And I'm saying that as a Liverpool supporter. Damn the tactics. I hate to be this Bruce Arena type character and 75-year-old, get off my lawn type of moment. But at some point, it's just got to be about go out and play, man. Who cares if it's 3 or 4 center backs? Like, there are philosophies and principles within the game that you can just go and operate under, and it shouldn't fucking matter what your formation looks like. And there's too much of that placed on it. And I don't know who started that, but
it really does get to a point. Go out and play. You can get so lost in the minutia of what a formation looks like and whose strengths are where. But if you don't have guys that are willing to go out and play for that manager or coach or whoever's at the helm, it don't matter. Sometimes you just got to take a hit.
As Harrison Reed did. Yes, I will back. So Fred in the Discord comments was saying, you hire a guy who lives by a system and then are shocked when he won't change. There is a point to, when a coach comes in, I do think this all mostly stems from Pep and everybody wanting to be the next Pep and have their way or the highway, but it works. And so everybody deifies them and whatever. There's so many guys that get hired based on the success they've had at a club like Sporting Lisbon, right? With Ruben Amorim, it worked. So, I do understand why he would be kind of really married to that system. Ange Postecoglou, another guy, it worked. Now, it didn't work in the Premier League. So there is a difference there when you're sort of, winning A-leagues and, winning Portuguese leagues and then moving to Premier League. There is a difference there. But I understand a guy is like, listen, it worked for me. I'm going to make it work again. If you don't like it, fire me, especially with the way the contracts go. And he just gets 11 million pounds or whatever to walk out the door. The way the contract is structured, it's almost like they're daring him to do that. So I feel like, obviously contracts will change and things, whatever. It's just an interesting situation. Now we didn't really say anything about Maresca. Anything on the Maresca situation at this point?
It's different just because the Manchester City situation and sort of like the tampering behind the scenes and him having conversations with them clearly set this whole thing in motion, on top of the fact that, he felt like he should have the final say as to when and how a player comes back from injury over the medical staff. Now, he probably learned that at Manchester City, and Pep probably didn't take any shit from the medical staff and is like, oh, you're going to tell me when Jack Grealish is healthy enough to play? Like, no. I'm deciding whether or not he plays 40 minutes or 70 minutes. So I'm sure he got frustrated with that, but I just think it's sort of apples to cantaloupes trying to compare. I think Wilfried Nancy and Ruben Amorim situations are more similar than Enzo Maresca. I think they're just a little bit different. But Enzo Maresca did not fail at Chelsea. He won 2 trophies. And it's funny, the 5th and 6th place teams in the Premier League have fired their coach. And Liverpool very well might fire their coach next week. So, like, it's just amazing how this whole thing has gone down. By the way, Ruben Amorim, lowest winning percentage out of any full-time coach that has been employed by Manchester United since the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson at 38%. Who's number 1 in win percentage in the 6 coaches that have been there in a full-time capacity?
Moyes.
Jose.
Okay.
The dude fucking wins games, man. Talk about a guy who's unflinchingly rigid in the way that he operates, but obviously, comes with a little bit of baggage.
He's at least unflinching in the way he operates in front of the media and sort of addresses people, I think, or as a manager. All right, now quickly some of the other games. We had a bunch of interesting games. Arsenal Villa was the big one from the midweek. Everybody was looking towards. Ended up not being much of a game. Now I will say, Aston Villa were missing some guys, so I will give them that. But man, Arsenal looked good. 4-1. It was really not that much in doubt. I don't know, Tweedle. What do you got thoughts on this?
That first half was well played from Villa. That first half was in doubt. Yes. I think we went into halftime and came out really, really strong. I don't think anybody really expected us to put up 4. Like, if anything, we were taking this game by a goal. But to see the vigor that we came out of the halftime with was really, really impressive. And that kind of reignited our title hopes. My personal hope for this title, like I told you I was in doubt going into that game, and you said, would you take Emery back? And I said, no, I don't know, we'll see. But no, I think this game was a real character builder. Declan Rice is a top 5 footballer in the world. He wasn't there for that Villa game. He was there for the game after. But that statement still stands. I think he's unbelievable. I literally think he's a Ballon d'Or candidate. And to mention this, we're top of the league, and we don't have a single player in the top 20 scorers in the league. our scoring is so spread out between our forwards, our midfielders, our defenders, and Owen that we are just getting production from absolutely anywhere. And that's what we did last season as well. And obviously we fell short, but I think this is our year. Very simply put.
Who is that really handsome, informed, and knowledgeable pundit on this podcast who talked about the fallacy of a number 9?
Yeah, we haven't seen Tommy in a bit, but he was saying this the other day where no, that was you. That was you. I'll give you that one.
I mean, it's hard to stop a team when you don't know who is going to score and who, it's like Haaland, you can put 3 guys on him, you still might not be able to stop him, but Arsenal is a totally different beast.
The conversation around Gyökeres, and I'll admit his productivity on the ball has not been up to par. For what we bought him for, which was a channel running striker, someone who can finish the ball, is relentless, is strong, and can bully center backs. We haven't really seen that version of him. Now, what I will say is that we win football games when he starts. His pressing and his motor and the attention that he draws when in the box and when running into channels is irreplaceable. You really can't put a number value on that, and that opens up players around him, and it lengthens the field for us to do what we want to. I don't know if that's enough for him to stay in that position when Jesus is 90 minutes healthy and Kai Havertz is 90 minutes healthy. I don't know. I think it's a good problem to have. I think Havertz starts out of all of them if healthy, but Gyökeres has had okay games. I don't think he's had a bad game. I don't think he's had a phenomenal game in an Arsenal shirt. He's had some goals and he's had some talent.
Atletico Madrid, he was pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. But in the Premier League,
no,
he's been a little underwhelming. In that one finish where he kind of tried to side foot it and place it, I think I talked about this last week as well, where that's a finish that comes off if you're playing with confidence, and if it doesn't, it looks really, really ugly. And right now, he just doesn't have his shooting boots on. Would love for him to acquire those, but I'm still happy with the effort and the impact that he brings every week.
So Tyler, from this 4-1 result, was that like a clear differentiation between these clubs for you, or was that just a one-off result?
No, I think that was a one-off because and we were talking about this with Mikey and Tommy. No, it's just Mikey in the group chat during the game. Arsenal were porous in the first half. It seemed like every time that Villa got the ball, it was like 1 or 2 passes or not even, and just Morgan Rodgers beating one guy off the dribble, and they would create a chance. I think if Villa score first in that game looks a lot different. Mm-hmm. Now, if the queen had balls, she'd be the king and everything like that. But I just think that this was a product of Villa having a really, really short bench this year and not having a ton of depth, and life catching up with Villa in a game against the, champions elect. And so it's just I think it was just more so of a one-off. I think that the point differential in the table is the indicator of how far apart these teams are. Arsenal is not beating Villa 4-1, 6 or 7 times out of 10. I think that's a one-off type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing from this game, and quick touch on, Unai Emery had to talk about salty or butthurt. The way he just waited about 0.2 seconds for Arteta to come over and shake his hand. And Arteta, apparently, this is according to all our Arsenal fans in the Discord, he always just immediately shakes hands with his whole team and assistant coaches before going to the other coach. Unai Emery was not waiting around for that. He was all already in the back, in the back doing a post-game press conference where they then asked him about it. And he's like, "Oh yeah, no. This is just, I feel great. This is great. I love where our season is at. I don't know what you're talking about with this whole handshake thing," which is interesting because we give a lot of coaches a lot of shit for that. Unai Emery seemed to kind of skate by on that one, which I thought was.
I don't care. I don't care one bit. I really don't.
Of course you don't. You're top of the table and you just beat them 4-1.
If we had lost and Arteta had gone into the tunnel early without shaking hands to Emery or any other manager, I think it would have been a national news story and we would have shut down global markets for a day just to make sure we got to the bottom of it. I really couldn't give less of a shit.
That's true. The only thing with coaches at this point, I really hope somebody 2-foots Arteta in his little, I'm going to sort of dance around the sideline thing. Get your ass in the box. guy.
Just because my
get in the
coach
box.
can defend and yours can't. Sorry, we're like pressing as a team.
Listen, I got to find something to get some shots in because Tottenham stink. All right, so we're off Arsenal. They actually the other game for the weekend, Arsenal beat Bournemouth 3-2. That was where Declan Rice 2 goals, I think, and was all over the place on the field. Now, other games from the weekend: City draw with Chelsea, last gasp equalizer for a totally
ugly game.
0 game. This is a Chelsea without a manager, by the way. This is a game where at the end of the season, if City do fall short, God forbid, that's a game where they for sure will be looking back like, how the hell did that happen? Other games: Fulham and Liverpool draw. Spurs draws all over the place. We drew with at Brentford and then at home against Sunderland. Wolves beat the pants off of West Ham, which is hilarious to say. And then Everton got beat by Brentford 4-2. Now, very, very un-Toffee-like game, by the way. So from those results or any others, Tyler, anything stand out?
Fulham Liverpool game. Have to talk about it. I mean, that Harrison Reed strike is a where were you kind of strike. Where were you when that ball flew into the top corner? I actually have 3 or 4 Hobart College soccer buddies who were behind that goal at the cottage watching that game.
Oh wow!
One of
our buddies
Liverpool
fans?
No, they're full. Well, no, they're Fulham fans. One of them lives in London. He's an expat who has been living in London for like 10 years now. And he got season tickets to Fulham. He lives like in Shoreditch, and he got season tickets to Fulham like 6 or 7 years ago. And so he and like one of our captains my senior year, and then one of our Norwegian teammates all went to the game together and were sitting behind the goal. I think like on the same side as the ball flew into on the Harrison Reed goal. And apparently it was just absolute scenes there. But like, again, it's another Liverpool situation where they drop points against a team that they shouldn't, in a situation where they shouldn't, right? First it was Leeds, now it's Fulham. But I mean, how many goals in a moment like that can you think of that are placed so perfectly to get a result? Like Shabalala is one of them in the World Cup.
The one that comes to mind is Vincent Kompany.
Against Leicester City.
Yeah.
But even like, as a Liverpool supporter, like I'm not like throwing shit at the TV because that ball goes in. Like that's just sort of a golf clap, and you tip your hat. You're like, okay, we got to draw on the road because Harrison Reed decided to put in the fucking goal of the year against us in the 97th minute, and it made it look that much worse that Cody Gakpo took off his shirt 2 minutes before that for what he thought was
Richarlison-esque. I mean, it's not. Did you feel like that was a game where you? I hate saying this word, but deserved a win?
We don't. Who deserves anything now? Like
okay,
nobody.
Right.
Like I don't know. I don't think we deserve anything. Like I don't deserve anything in life. Like what's the point? Like like nobody deserves anything. We're all shitheads, and like nobody deserves anything. No,
that's real as fuck. Who deserves anything anymore? I love that.
Very philosophical.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move on. Spurs draws left and right. I do think the interesting thing from the past week is the fact that Maresca and Amorim are both gone. I think it changes the calculus on Thomas Frank because I don't think there's only so many managers you can go out and get.
What is the calculus on Thomas Frank? I'm curious. What is the math on him?
I think it's that you have to wait till the end of the season and just see how things go. That's where I'm at right now. I don't think that we'd be able to. I don't want to get in this whole thing where Chelsea and United are in it every 18 months where they got to get a new manager, and especially in January. It's not a situation where I want to dip my toe in.
Then it's going to happen in March. Like, what are we talking? Like, if he keeps shitting the bed like this and not getting results, then it's just going to happen a little bit later on than what you're talking about. Like,
that's a big if.
Nobody wants to be in this situation, but if you're the manager of a Big Six club, and I say Big Six in quotations because we have already officially removed them from the Big Six and inserted Aston Villa into Spurs' spot. But if you're a coach of a theoretical Big Six side, you can't just be losing games and finishing in 16th and 17th in multiple seasons and expect either one of those managers to keep their job for longer than a year. Like, that's not a realist. Like, I don't care how much.
I agree, but we're in January now. We're not in March. We're not in May. We're in January. If this continues,
get more time.
Exactly. Give him more time. You got to be optimist, Tyler. You don't understand that. You don't understand the level of
Right.
optimism it requires to be a Tottenham fan. Okay,
You're right.
You just don't get it.
I don't get it. You're right.
I mean that kind of as a compliment to you. Wolves, by the way, so 3-0 over West Ham. Nuno is the gift that keeps on giving for Wolverhampton, and just I don't know where they go from here. Is West Ham? Either one of you, is West Ham dead? Are they gone? Are they going down?
Dead.
Wolves are the best worst team ever, and West Ham are the worst team in this league. The Wolves' results in the past month or so have not been equivalent to their position in the table and their points total. They've really quote unquote deserved more points based on their performances over the last month, and I'm glad that they have this definitive win, even if it is just against a dead horse of a West Ham. They look good. They look really fun going forward. They're all on the same page. They're really positive with the ball. I think their press is good, and I think they're going to climb. I don't think they're going to climb out of the relegation zone, but I don't think they'll come in 20th, and that's as much praise as I'm willing to give them.
That's a huge shift for a team that was on 2 points a week ago, and now it's on 6. So they however many percentage of up on their return. I still think this is a really bad Wolves team after watching. They have looked better, and I know that playing West Ham certainly helps with that.
Mm-hmm.
But Nuno, what a turn of events for him, by the way. Last year with Forest when he was flying, and now he's at West Ham just getting his pants beat off. Oh, it's tough. Is that it? Anything else? Everton, Brentford. Adam said we could skip that. I do. What about Brentford though? Where do you guys see? Did you think that Brentford has staying power? They're at 7th place in the table right now, 30 points. That is 3 points ahead of Tottenham, by the way, the team that stole their manager. Mitch, what do you think? Does Brentford have top half staying power?
Yes, top half. Yes, 7 might be lofty, but it's worth noting that they are overperforming what they did last year with some of their best attackers gone in Vissa. Kevin Shada is just unbelievable, and it's death taxes and Igor Thiago, excuse me. The dude just finds a goal every single week. I'm shocked I dropped him in FPL, to be honest.
If you can be a mid-table club and score a lot of goals, you're giving yourself a chance to get a European spot. It's just as clear. It's just as simple as that. Score more goals than the other team. I mean, I know defensively they probably would like to be a little bit better, but I mean that's the biggest thing, right? Is finding high quality guys for average transfer prices that can score at a high rate of the Premier League. That's what these clubs typically struggle to do, and they have it. I mean, that's why Crystal Palace are sometimes decent because they find a goal scorer like that. That's why Spurs suck because they can't. So it's just it's
I mean, that's fair. That's why Brentford and Leeds have been sort of moving up in the table the way they have been recently with Calvert-Lewin and Thiago. Quickly, Fulham. Got to talk about Fulham because Ricardo Pepe is in the news. Our guy Tom Bogert dropped a bogey bomb that that Fulham are in for Pepe in the January transfer window. Now, this is a very interesting move and a very interesting time because we're 6 months away from the World Cup. Actually, less than that, 5 months away from the World Cup at this point, and there's obviously anybody wants a move to the Premier League. It comes with cachet. It comes with Instagram followers. It comes with a lot of money. It comes with a lot of eyeballs. And if he succeeds there, he cements his spot on the World Cup team. Now, on the other hand, it comes with risk. The level of competition goes up. If he doesn't play well, it's not good. It will not help. So what are we thinking here? Mitch, do you like this move if it goes through?
At this time, no. I love the amount of playing time and the form that he's in the Netherlands right now for PSV. He's been a really important part of their squad for the last 2 years, and he seems to be comfortable there. They know where to find him as well. Ricardo Pepe's not a pace demon. He's not going to run in behind. He's an excellent clinical finisher, And I do think he has good instincts in the box, but I don't think for this Fulham team that he would sign and start right away. And even if he did, there's a learning curve, as with everybody in the Premier League, except Zubamendi. I don't love this for him at this stage, but big picture, I would love to see him in the Premier League, especially on full America with Jedi Robinson. That would be unbelievable.
I like the landing spot from the sense that, you know, he has Raul Jimenez is essentially their only striker right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be good in the sense that, do you think that he could play with Raul? I do at his age.
I think they offer something fairly similar, but Jimenez is kind of on the back nine. And he ghosts for some games, and there's some games that he's not willing to press. There's some games where he's just pretty visibly off, and Fulham have not taken him out because he's their only striker, and because if they're going to score a goal, it's probably going to come from him or through him. Pepe adds something different. So I think he could be an excellent sub for Fulham. Like I said, I don't think he signs and starts right away, but I really would like to see him in the Premier League. I think he is that level. And I think the World Cup starting spot is his until proven otherwise. I think it's him over Balogun. Yeah.
Right now, you think it's him over
Yes.
Balogun?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, are we just going to ignore the fact that he's in yet another commercial before the World Cup roster has been announced? Like, did anybody see the Home Depot spot? And he's in it the same way he was in a Nike ad before the World Cup in 2022, and he didn't make the roster?
No.
Why are we doing this again?
Well, I do think he will make the roster. I do think he's in the roster.
If I asked you that in March, of last World Cup cycle, you would have said this is he's a leading goal scorer for us in qualifying, and he didn't make it. I mean,
that's fair. That's why that's not why, but I do think that, as Mitch pointed out, like, going to Fulham right now, it's risky. Like,
I don't love it.
He's in a spot where he's comfortable. He's been places, Augsburg, where it just did not work out. He did not, get playing time. He wasn't scoring goals. If that happened with Fulham, I think he's on the roster right now. Granted, Tyler isn't so confident. I think he is on the roster.
He's on my roster. He's on my roster. I just don't know what anybody's going to do anymore.
Going to Fulham, he could play it or not play his way off, which, that is a huge risk. It'll be interesting to see.
But flipping it, he could really make himself battle-tested and battle-ready, training at that level at the Premier League every single day, trying to win a spot from Raul Jimenez, and then he's not surprised by the moment at all if he is starting in a World Cup game and is playing against the same caliber of defenders. I mean, I'm a Jets fan right now who just watched his team not be able to get a single interception all season. Liverpool might fire their coach. I just broke my toe in a men's tournament that I didn't even win with a bunch of ex-professionals. Like, I have not. Who wants to be excited about anything anymore? But I would like to be excited about the prospect that Ricardo Pepi, if he were to make the move, is going to be laser focused to make sure that he is getting minutes, and that, like, this isn't something he's going to leave in the hands of the coaching staff. He's going to make sure that he's going to be ready to go for the World Cup for his country.
Fair enough. Listen, that's the inexplicable, boundless optimism that I was talking about earlier that we were looking for from you.
About half full, this glass, huh? Nice.
All right, let's move on. So quickly, FPL, where we're at right now. I had a tough week. I think other people may have as well. In the Council of Elders, Mikey's always up top. It's what he is. He's way ahead of us. The Discord sickos. Oh shoot, I can't get to the table. It won't let me show it. All right, we'll do it next week. Sorry, everybody, if you're in top 5, I'll give you a shout out next week from FPL. And by the way, quick reminder: set your lineups, because we got a midweek coming up, and then followed by FA Cup in the weekend. So no games. Now, quickly, midweek matchups. Got to talk about Arsenal hosting Liverpool on Thursday. Tyler, you go first.
Nervous.
Actually, it sounds like Mitch last week, to be honest. That's what he said.
The last time that we went to the Emirates, or I saw Liverpool at the Emirates, was not a fun experience. If you all remember, I was painfully drunk. I was with 5 or 6 buddies who I was supposed to be sitting next to, but we got shafted by some third-party vendor over in North London, who gave us 6 tickets, but all of them were scattered throughout all the Emirates. So I was wasted in the cheap seats, not able to show an ounce of Liverpoolism at the stadium because I was very much not in the away section. And anyway, really bad PTSD type of experience being at the Emirates. So I am not looking forward to this because I feel like the last few trips to the Emirates have not gone well for Liverpool. And I feel like we're in a very vulnerable spot right now. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to this.
Any Tweedle commentary?
Yeah, it's belt to ass. 3-0.
All right, other games: City hosting Brighton, Burnley hosting United. United without Darren Fletcher has been named the interim manager there, so they do have a coach. Newcastle hosting Leeds.
He is the interim to the interim. He is a caretaker for 2 games, and then they're going to find somebody else to take over for 5 months after that. Yeah.
Interim to the interim manager. Okay.
Yes.
And then 17th place West Ham hosting 18th place Nottingham Forest. Oh, boy. Actually, I got that opposite. 18th place West Ham hosting 17th place Nottingham Forest. A real belter on Tuesday. And I think somebody said earlier that if the West Ham lose that game, they are officially dead. We'll move on. Halftime. You know what? This is a great weekly what if, but we're going to skip it this week. Shout out to Grant Wilson. We're going to hold on to it for next week. Round the world, AFCON. We are in the point of things where we're down to the pointy tip of the spear, where Mikey was going to give us a whole bunch of thoughts on AFCON and on the knockouts, because he has been watching it religiously and betting on it. I'll just say I've been the games I've watched have been pretty awesome. Not necessarily always the highest quality, but like there is some quality there, and then the things sort of in and around the field are awesome. South Africa got bounced by Cameroon. This Cameroon-Morocco game, quarterfinal on Friday, ought to be fantastic. I was reading all this thing about like the witchcraft or something happening with the Mali team, and the fact they won their round of 16 game with some I don't know what was happening, but that I'm watching Mali now. I got eyes on Mali. Quickly though, you already talked about Nancy out at Celtic after 8 games. That is so crazy. 8 games. Arsene Wenger, quickly. So his new offsides thing. He's been pitching this for a while now, right? I mean, this has been out there for a while, but basically he's saying that if any part of the defender is in line with the offensive player, so the offensive player can have 99% of their body ahead of the defender, just as long as their pinky toe is in line with the defender, he's saying that's how they should change the offside rule. And I'm saying Arsene Wenger is an old fart that needs to eat some Jell-O, go back to his bed, and shut the fuck up, because that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It doesn't change anything. If you're saying you're doing this just to get more goals, just say that. Just say that's what you want to do. But if you're doing it to like this is going to change something and make it better, make offsides like less controversial and less arguments, you're absolutely batshit crazy. This just changes what they call the line of confrontation. It just changes that, and it makes the referees and the linesmen who have been judging this for decades, they'll be like, we got to start over, like, and learn this whole. This is the worst idea I've ever heard. Arsene Wenger should shut the fuck up and go back to his home. That's all I have to say on that. Any additions?
If he was a 20-year head coach of Spurs and had won multiple trophies for your club, would you be having the same sort of...
I would say it much more diplomatically, perhaps.
Yeah, understood.
I share your
stance.
I share your stance on this issue without the negative language. But yeah, it's just an asinine idea. There's no reason to rework offside. You're asking everybody who has ever played to relearn the game. No.
It's horrible. It's absolutely terrible.
It's a stretch to relearn the game.
It shapes how attackers run. It shapes the timing of balls. It shapes how players defend. It shapes how referees referee the game. It is a massive change to a portion of the game that is already pretty highly controversial and has a lot of impact in really important situations. I don't see a reason for it, really. Like Sam said, it's not helping an issue.
The reason to do it is to have there be more goals and have it be like more entertaining, and just increase the margin of when.
Who is this more entertaining for? Are you looking to be more entertained by this sport? Are you bored with it? Are you like, oh god, this game was only 1-1.
I don't know.
It's a
I
snooze
don't
fest.
know who it's meant to be more entertaining. But you know what? It's funny that you say that because like I feel as if sometimes when they're talking about that at the FIFA level, and like if Arsene Wenger is the pioneer behind all of this, they're like talking to people in flyover states in America, probably who think that the game is boring.
Yes, but at what point are you the most popular sport in the world and you just say, if you don't like us, that's okay? Like, not everybody in the world has to be a soccer fan. And if they're not, if somebody in Wyoming is listening right now and is like, that rule is for me, I'm going to watch way more soccer if they change offside and make it so any part of the defender's body is in line with any part of the attacker's body. Does that change something really for people? If you see scores being 3-5 instead of 2-1?
There are plenty of haters in this country who, if they saw the average amount of goals go up by like 0.75 or a goal in every single game, they might be more inclined to watch. I'll tell you what. If the World Cup starts out this summer with 3-2s and 5-3s and 5-4s, and there's goals left and right and fucking bananas group stage games, you're going to get a lot more interest throughout the tournament than if every game was 1-0 or 0-0. Like, that's just how it works in this country.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Right. Maybe that'll be an unintended consequence, positive consequence of the 48-team tournament and more teams.
God love the overtrain, because we know that'll be cooking when the time comes.
Speaking of which, what a transition. Well done, Tyler. You should get paid for this. Now, quickly, before I get to the overtrain,
is that another unemployment shot?
It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. It was not meant to be. I swear to God. No, I was gonna throw it to Mitch quickly because I know he's got a heart out. He's got to go play some soccer. You got a game or a winning Ivan Toney's best bet for us here?
I do, followed quickly by a GOA. So this is 4 games. My last parlay hit. And I'm up a couple units as Eric in the Discord is keeping track. Thank you. So this is all on Wednesday, right?
On the midweek match day?
Yeah. This is Villa, draw no bet. This is United, money line against Burnley. This is Napoli, money line against Hellas Verona. And this is Man City, first half money line against Brighton. Brings you to 585.
Wow, United. You got faith in Darren Fletcher there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's plus Burnley. And then my GOA really quickly is this is derived from a tweet, and I'll paraphrase it, but the sentiment stands. I think out of everybody that has looked bad from this Ruben Amorim debacle, it is the Portuguese league. Because their most recent...
Is this a shot at Gyökeres?
It's a little bit of everything. It's because their most recent exports are Darwin Nunez. Biggest exports are Darwin Nunez, Gyökeres, Joao Felix, who was touted as like one of the most expensive and talented players ever, and Amorim. And none of which have really panned out to the degree that they were hyped. I'm not saying Gyökeres is bad. I'm not saying Nunez or Felix are bad. But were they 80 million pound signings? Was Felix 125 million to Saudi Arabia?
There are reports that I know you got to go. There were reports that Sporting thought it was hilarious that Liverpool were willing to pay 80 million for Darwin.
Yeah, exactly. So and they're on the phone being like, just tack another zero on. Who cares? Yeah, I've not watched Liga NOS because I don't have whatever package streams them. But it's always pretty close at the top. It's Sporting, it's Benfica, and then there's a couple dark horses here and there.
Porto usually in there.
Yeah, Porto, excuse right. But the quality of the league has to be called into question when their 3 biggest player exports are who were goal scorers and creators are not. Vitinha and João Neves are excellent players. I did not include them in this because they are really, really good players. They play in France.
But also
they play in France. Yeah.
Listen, there's counterpoints here, like Jota, Luis Diaz. I mean, there's guys that have come from what? They're good players.
Luis Diaz. Oh my God, I'm out of here. Bye.
He's a good player. What are we talking about?
No, I'm laughing at your pronunciation.
Well,
Yeah. No. I agree. He's a great player. Your pronunciation of Luis Diaz is just
Okay. You guys give me a hard time, and that's fair point. All right. Thank you, Mitch. I know you got to go. By the way, what
did he leave? He's
he
gonna
did,
mess
but
up.
Nah, it'll be all right. All right. So we are on Ivan Toney's best bets. I get to do a little self back patting here. 4 for 5 last week. 4 for 5, feeling good. We're so back. We are so back. And the one thing you do when you're just newly back is you don't get too aggressive. Fuck that. I'm going balls to the wall. I'm going all in. I got three games that are going over 3.5 this week. We're doing it. We're just going for it. So Wednesday and Thursday, again, the pickings are a little slim this week because we don't have a lot of leagues back from their holiday break, but we'll figure it out. So Wednesday, we're going to the League Cup semifinal in Portugal, the aforementioned Portuguese league. Braga is hosting Benfica. That's over 2.5. Thursday, we are going to the League Cup as well, semifinal in Spain. Actually, it's not in Spain. I believe it's in Saudi Arabia, but it involves Spanish teams, Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. This is on Thursday. Those two are 2.5. The next three are over 3.5. Friday, we're going to the Eerste Divisie, the second division in Netherlands, where Emmen is hosting Cambuur, over 3.5. Saturday, we're going to the A-League. As somebody said in the Discord, I have officially announced that the A-League is off of the probation list. This is a league that I've been talking about for years. They're always, these 4 to 8 games and 3 to 6. It was like 1-1, 1-0, 2-0 games left and right for like 3 months. I just had to put them on the probation list. They came off it because over the last month or so, they've been back to their old ways, and I love it. So we are going back to Australia on Saturday, where Wellington Phoenix is hosting Adelaide United, and I know Wellington actually is in New Zealand, but whatever. Just let's go with it. Sunday, we're going to the Netherlands top division, Eredivisie, Heerenveen hosting Feyenoord. And again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those are all over 5 or 3.5. All right, Mitchell, Ivan Toney's best bet. What do you got? Mitchell, I called you Mitchell. Tyler Nathaniel, What do you got?
Good Lord Almighty.
We're get it together.
We're gonna keep my parlay, dare I say, relatively tame this week. Okay.
Ooh.
Liverpool Arsenal game. This is me going after my boy Milos Kerkez because I just don't believe in him. Kaya Saka, 2+ shots on target, paired with both teams to score for just a casual +345. That's it. That's all we're looking at. That's it.
Very casual. Very casual for you.
Yeah.
All right. Fair point. We'll play it safe.
In this economy and with my employment status, I can't afford to be dropping +1,200 parlays. I just can't. I can't.
Or is that the way to,
or is
make
that
up
my
for
side hustle? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Go is time. So we already got Mitch's. You want to take the next stab here?
For Goa?
Yeah.
Number one, the referee at the Mockingbird Valley Soccer Club Invitational. Just an atrocious performance that honestly made me laugh more than it did cry during the game. I apologize for what I said. That was probably mildly out of line, but I also wasn't wrong. Like, he sucks at his job, and they did bring in somebody else to help him out because he couldn't keep up with the pace of play. So not really on me by any stretch of the imagination. And then the Gabon Federation, I don't know if we hit on this last week, but and I'm sure you had this in one of your 17 honorable mentions.
I did.
The Gabon Federation decided to, after their abysmal showing in AFCON in the group stages, in which they took 0 points, and may God have mercy on their soul, the Gabon government decided to, and I don't know exactly what this means, dissolve the coaching staff, not dismiss or mutually agree to part ways, but dissolve, which sounds like there's probably going to be hits put out on them within the next week or two. So let's put some Apple Air tags in those wallets to make sure nobody goes missing over the next 14 days, number one. And number two, they suspended the federation. I don't know what that means. That's like basically if the United States got grouped in the World Cup, Trump saying Pochettino's fired, and the U.S. Soccer Federation is going to cease to exist until I say it's allowed to resume operations. More or less what is going on in Gabon right now. So interesting place to be. If you remember, may God rest his soul, Aaron Bupenza, when he was playing for FC Cincinnati, there was basically a sex video that he had that got hacked and then eventually released. He wasn't allowed back into the country for fear of him being arrested and detained for years on end, because you're not allowed to distribute porn in Gabon, which he wasn't doing. He just had somebody hack him and release the sex tape that he had made. So that's the type of government that we're dealing with, just for a little background. But anyway, Gabon government is my Goa.
That's a good shout. That was one of my honorable mentions. So we'll cross that off the list. Just they're taking the ball and going home, but they're just a bunch of politician nerds who weren't even involved anyway. It's crazy. So a couple honorable mentions. Nuno Espirito Santo, already talked about how he's been the Robin Hood of the Premier League this year. A-League gets an honorable mention because they are back. They're off the probation list. They started scoring goals again. Our guy, our boy, Jake Stovall, it's his birthday coming up next week. He's been a long-time loyal listener. I believe played soccer with you, right? He was you played with him, correct?
Yes, I've played with him multiple times. First of all, great player, really sharp center back, got a lot going on in between the ears, physical, likes to talk a little bit of shit as well. So a player that is right up my alley, number one. Number two, he's had a tough go of it. Our very own Ricky Pooch, he has torn his ACL not once but twice in the past 18 months. So he's been going through it. Jake, we love you, buddy. Hang in there. We know he has not had surgery for the second ACL tear just yet, but he's a busy man. He's got money to make, unlike some of us. But happy birthday, buddy! We love you, and we hope you're hanging in.
You're making the most fun employment jokes out of anybody. But yes, shout out to Jake. I actually met Jake in Cincinnati before the U.S. game a couple years ago. Him and his buddies, great dude. My actual goal, Leonard Carl, the 17-year-old, I believe, for Bayern Munich, who was kind of just burst onto the scene with his performances for Bayern Munich this season. He clearly needs PR 101 social media talking to. And apparently, by the way, he was actually talked to quietly behind the scenes like a month ago. And they told him, okay, listen, we saw some I don't know if it was Instagram or tweets or TikToks or whatever that you've been liking that involve Real Madrid. Maybe let's not really do that. It kind of, it'll rub fans the wrong way and everything. Well, he responded to that by going to a fan event, a Bayern Munich fan event this week. And somebody asked him what would be his dream club to play at, which anybody with a little bit of PR sense, you just sort of brush that off. And I'm so happy at Bayern. This is incredible. He just said, yeah, it would be my dream someday to play for Real Madrid. Bro, you can't say that. There are things you can't say.
He's taking a page out of Trent's book. He saw him do it. He's like, why can't I say
it? Right. Just a crazy move. I mean, this is one of those things where he's 17, so I think he'll probably be given a little grace. But come on, man.
But it's also, you can't say that while playing for Bayern. If you can say that if you're playing for Birmingham City. You can't say that if you're playing for Bayern.
No, that is a great way to make sure you get a lot of fans off your bandwagon.
By the way, one more go on my end. I want to throw in an honorable mention of my own, since you always do it, and I basically have 17 million of these in store to catch up to the amount that you've had over the years. Kobe Mainu. Did you see his Instagram post after the press release that Ruben Amorim was sacked?
So I did not. I saw his sister's post, which was pretty clear about what she was. It was just a post of some girl being like, haha, essentially. And I saw, back a few weeks ago where his brother essentially was shitting on Amorim. But what did Kobe's?
Kobe Mainu's post was like this, artistic avant-garde, shadowy picture of an individual who had chains strapped to both arms, and the chains were breaking that was the picture.
I mean, that is so blatantly obvious about it. He must really. I saw Garnacho also liked Fabrizio's Instagram post about Amorim being out. Yeah, he made some enemies.
He just supports good journalism. That's all. That's what Garnacho.
That's not what that is. Okay. Oh, goodness. All right, everybody. We'll leave it there. Tyler, you're the best. Mitch, love him as well. Mikey, we'll be back. Tommy might be back. Who knows? Who knows where that guy is these days? He's like gone from London to San Francisco. We'll get him back, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But everybody else, anybody in this Discord chat, you guys really are the best. If you're not in Discord chat, get in there by getting in the Sam's Army Patreon. We'll be back next week. Bigger, better, maybe faster, stronger. We'll see. Here we go.